On Jakthebomb and about his videos on transgender discrimination and how he was discriminated at the doctors because he wasn't being called she and they was calling by his male name. Well, nigga, that's something you gotta get used to, homeboy, cause if you was in my motherfucking household, you was my brother, nephew, or my son, I will beat this shit out of you until you turn back into the fucking man you supposed to be. So here's his video here that I saved.
I know I've been kind of absent since September. The last video I made was anti-transgender bullshit. And I think more anti-transgender bullshit is what's going to get me back into making videos, at least for the foreseeable future. So, just to recap what's happened in the past few months, my life kind of got chaotic, where car broke down, stalker showed up at my apartment, moved to Portland, Oregon, that's the big one, got a new job, and yeah, so my life is kind of all over the place. But it's interesting, it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to a bright future. Now, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos since then. I've commented on thousands of videos since then, and I think this particular person is your classic bigoted asshole who refuses to even look at any of the facts, just assumes that he knows everything, and resorts to name-calling and resorts to harassment as his form of debating a particular point. So this person's name is Suffering Hunter, and his video description is, I used yours. I used to support you, your older videos, liked your videos. Then you fail off. Again, this guy has no idea how to spell. Then all of a sudden, couldn't find your channel anymore. I seen some ugly ass chick and realized she has the same name as you. I thought it was your sister until I went down and seen you came out as a fucking faggot, Jake. Now, a lot of people who want to misgender me and refer to me as a guy, they commonly use Jake. And for some reason, people think Jake used to be my old name. And it's not. It never was. Jakthebomb was a reference to Jak and Daxter. So when I created Jakthebomb, which is probably in my, I think, sophomore year or junior year of high school, and so it's stuck ever since, and I've used it for YouTube. And so it's funny is that because I never put my old name, people are like, well, I'm not going to call you Catherine, I'm just going to call you Jake, because that's a boy's name, and I assume that you're a boy, and yeah. So, I wanted to watch this guy's video. I mean, yeah, sure, the misspelling was kind of an early warning sign that this was not going to be the best of quality, but what's funny is he puts a fair use disclaimer at the very beginning, which again, I'm all for fair use. I watch plenty of YouTubers who debate and discuss issues and try to point out where someone's argument may be flawed. And so I'm all for fair use. I support it. I utilize fair use from time to time, which I'm probably going to use in this video. But there is a fine line between criticism, critiquing somebody, and just flat out harassing somebody. And this guy is falsely utilizing fair use in the form of harassment, where throughout the entire video he's calling me a special snowflake. He's calling me he. Like, he had, at no point does he refer to me as a female. He calls me a Fruit Loop. He calls me a fucking faggot. He calls me a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily say if you're trying to get a point across. If you're trying to debate someone, you don't spend half of your debate calling the other person names. And it just really shows where his mental state is. His mental state is he's a stupid idiot who doesn't understand the concept of debating, doesn't even understand the subject matter of which he's debating, or quote, his idea of debating. So he is what I would consider your classic bigot, an uneducated, stupid asshole who feels the need to push buttons, feels the need to kick the hornet's nest, feels the need to insult and harass people for no good reason. I mean, this guy has absolutely no reason to do what he's doing. I mean, because he spent the video is 29 minutes long. So I can imagine with the editing and everything, this guy invested a lot of time to make this very low quality video. And it's not even worth debating his point, because his point is your same old sad song of, I'm a bigot, I believe you're not trans because trans is a mental illness, blah, 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 blah. It's the same bullshit that you hear from Ben Shapiro, you hear it from all these extreme right nut jobs where they don't give a fuck what the science says. Instead, they're like, well, I think science says that if you're a man and you can't change from being a man, even though the science proves that it's not quite so black and white. The science has proven that transgender people are very complex. So, I mean, I personally know a trans person who was born with XX chromosomes but developed as a man. So, it's funny when people are like, well, the whole chromosomes argument, you were born with this, so therefore you're this. Well, it's not true. I've seen the proof. I've seen somebody who was assigned male at birth who was born with XX chromosomes. So that argument just doesn't stand. And a lot of these people who believe that they're intellectual, that believe that they're very intelligent and smart, they come out as the dumbest people because they refuse to look at the science. They refuse to acknowledge that maybe their perspective may be flawed. And it's something where when I make the point that the American Psychiatric Association, or Psychological Association, when they have a public statement on their website that states that transgender people do not suffer from any mental illness, the argument from the other side of the coin is, well, they change their mind all the time. Well, it doesn't matter if they change their mind. I mean, the fact that they change their perspective on medical science is a good thing. That means that they're willing to admit that sometimes they're wrong and sometimes they need to do a little bit more research to adjust their criteria for diagnosing issues. Because at one time they believed that if you were gay, that was a mental illness. They believed that at one time. But we all know for a fact that being gay is not a mental illness. It's not classified as one, and it's funny, there's a lot of gay people out there that are attacking transgender people and calling transgender people mentally ill. So it really is a growing thing for society, where people need to learn more about the subject and open their mind to the fact that they might be wrong. He calls it a roast of me, and the first video that he was debating, and I use that term very loosely, was a video that I released after I had to get a colonoscopy. When I was getting a colonoscopy, my legal name and gender was female. So my legal name was Catherine at the time of the procedure, and my legal gender was female. So the problem is that when changing your insurance information over, it's a very I would say it's a very complicated process. It requires a lot of faxing back and forth. It requires a lot of paperwork to do. And at the time, again, I was in a lot of pain, and I needed this procedure for them to see if it was being caused by Crohn's or something like that. It later turned out that it was a food allergy. But to diagnose and get it to that point, I needed to get a colonoscopy. So the problem is that medical office and this is just the thing, they're afraid of not getting paid. So they felt that they had to put all of my paperwork under my old name and old gender because that was what was on my medical ID card at the time. Even though I live every day of my life as Catherine, I present myself as female, my entire wardrobe is of women's clothing, and I would say even a lot of times the doctors, they don't even know I'm trans unless I tell them. I mean, that is especially the case nowadays where I've actually gone to a doctor saying, hey, I need more hormones. And the lady asked me, she's like, well, did you get a hysterectomy? Or do you have PCOS? They are actually completely blown away that I used to be a man. And I think a lot of people look at some of these older videos and I mean, because the video he's referring to is at the very least a year old. So we all change and we all grow. But, I mean, the only recommendation I can make for Suffering Hunter is, dude, for one, you need to figure out how to spell. I mean, look, I'm not the greatest at spelling, but I use spell check. That's what it's there for. Second, you need to learn what actual fair use is. Because what you made is flat out harassment. And I love how you wrote, it is not my intention to cause the original video publisher to receive any kind of harassment or abuse. Meanwhile, all he's doing throughout the whole video is harassment and abuse. Name calling is a form of harassment. Misgendering somebody, referring to me as a he. I couldn't even get past a certain amount of time throughout that video where I was just getting irritated that all he kept doing was calling me a he. And anytime he disagreed with a point of mine, he would say, "Oh no, you're wrong, blah blah blah, dumbass." And it's just like at the end of every single comment or critique he made, he called me some name, either dumbass, a Fruit Loop. There's a whole bunch. And I mean, don't take my word for it. Here, listen for yourself.
But I never ran into that problem, Fruit Loop. How's it highly offensive? That is the name that is your government name, the name you was born with, the name that your parents gave you, not the bitch ass name that you yourself gave him. Snowflake. Clearly treat you right instead of treat you like the snowflake of a female that you believe you are, to treat you like the man, and so you won't fucking die in their care. Dumbass. No, the medical system don't need to change. Your dumbass chose this lifestyle. It isn't as if you was born of this lifestyle. Like me, because I'm a predator and you're a faggot. I'm sorry to keep cutting off, but I would like to state my opinion on this. No doctor should be forced to call you what you believe that you are or play pretend land with you. This is a place of fucking business. If you believe you're fucking donkey, that's what you believe. But if you walk into that office, you are what you came into there to be. As again, remember, you chose this lifestyle.
As you can see, that's all he does. All he does is insult the shit out of me. And so, hey, Suffering Hunter, I'm opening up the floodgates here. If you seriously want to have a live Skype debate with me, I'm totally open to it. I enjoy that. Because at the end of the day, this whole going back and forth thing, because I'm pretty certain you're going to try to make a video, debating my points that I just made, I would like to actually have a live debate with you. So we can actually discuss things, and I can actually, defend my point, and you can defend yours. So I guess this is me coming back to making YouTube videos again. Again, this has been a long time coming. I've made so many videos that I just decided not to release. So, you know what? You can all thank Suffering Hunter for making me make more videos again. So take care, guys. Look out for future videos. And you know what? If you used to be a fan of mine and you don't believe that transgender people deserve rights, then you know what? Unsubscribe, because you're a piece of shit.